Mm. It's on the shelf or something.
Good evening, Girl Scouts. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our 2023 Girl Scouts of Central California South annual business meeting. I'm Dr. Russell Statham, and I have the privilege of serving as your CEO. I'd like to begin by thanking our board of directors, our delegates, our staff, and all of our volunteers who have been preparing to make tonight informative, inspiring, and interactive. This evening is more than a formality or just a product of our bylaws. Our annual business meeting is an opportunity for us to realign, to recenter, and to refocus as we advance the Girl Scout mission in the coming year. Tonight, we will hear and discuss some major strategic initiatives that our council is undertaking. We'll hear innovative property plans, we'll hear directly from girls, and we'll break out into focus groups to gain valuable insight from you, our Girl Scout family. The GSCCS Girl Scout community is a vibrant tapestry woven together by the dedication, courage, and resilience of each and every one of our Girl Scout members. As we embark on this journey through the heart of our organization, let us take a moment to reflect on the remarkable strides that we have made, the lives that we have touched, and the transformative experiences that we have provided for the countless girls who dare to dream, explore, and lead. We all have our own unique connection to Girl Scouts, united by our shared commitment to girls and the future of female leadership. These stories that we'll hear tonight are your stories, and they are truly the voice of our movement. One of the things that I love the most is seeing the highlights from our Girl Scouts over the past year. Our girls have been having a great time discovering, connecting, and taking action in their communities. And it has been such a personal blessing to get to see so many of our Girl Scouts in action this past year, from up at Camp Elwyn to at Agri Nation and everywhere in between. I want to thank all of our troop and our service unit leaders who have invited myself or our leadership team to be a part of your events and programs. And I wanted to give a shout out to Service Unit 26. I had a wonderful opportunity just recently to be able to attend their Service Unit Twilight Camp. And it was just a great reminder of the power of Girl Scouts. So if I haven't had a chance to meet you personally or attend one of your service unit or troop events, I would love to extend an invitation. You can always reach out to me at rdstatham@girlscoutccs.org or connect with me on Facebook at facebook.com/GSCCSCEO. As I reflect on the past year and I look to the year ahead, I am truly humbled and I'm inspired by the impact that Girl Scouts is having in developing girls of courage, confidence, and character who make our world a better place. The impact that we are having in the Central Valley throughout California in building the next generation of female leaders is both palpable and inspiring. Nationwide, 1 in 3 women are Girl Scout alum. Over half of all women in Congress, nearly 3/4 of the women in the US Senate, and 5 of the current 9 female governors are Girl Scout alum, all while every single woman that's ever flown in space and every female Secretary of State are also Girl Scout alum. Now, while these may sound like statistics, we are touched by Girl Scout alum in our lives each and every day. This became very personal for me in the past week. Many of you know that my father's been battling some health issues, and he's been in the hospital for the past month. And while I was visiting him in the ICU last week, I was truly touched and inspired by one of his nurses. Her name was Melissa, and she's a nurse in the neuroscience ICU downtown at Community Medical Center in Fresno. The impact that Melissa had on my dad and my immediate family was significant, so much so that I felt compelled to write to the hospital CEO just to share the positive impact that she had in our lives. As we were talking, the conversation naturally turned to work. She saw my Girl Scout backpack and she asked what I did. And I said, I work for Girl Scouts. And you would have thought that we had been lifelong friends, just like the famous Girl Scout song, Make New Friends and Keep the Old. She immediately opened up about her years in Girl Scouts, how her troop members are still important friends in her life to this day, and how the program truly shaped who she was and why she went into nursing. I can honestly say that I was not surprised by this, because in my experience, Girl Scouts develops the heart and the compassion in our girls for meaningful careers that touch countless lives. Melissa's experience as an ICU nurse, touching my dad and my family's lives, isn't uncommon. If we look anywhere in society, we can see the impact of the Girl Scout programs through our amazing alumni. Because truly, that's what we do in Girl Scouts. We make the world a better place. It's for this same reason that nearly every year I've been CEO, I've heard incredible stories of Girl Scouts who jump in to help others. They save lives. They put their Girl Scout skills to the test. You see, yes, Girl Scouts is fun. And yes, we teach leadership. We build the next generation of female leaders. And of course, we have the best cookies in the planet. But it's so much more than all of those things. And we are the engine and the force for good in our communities. And so tonight, I want to thank each and every one of our volunteers for all that you do in pouring into the hearts of our girls. You make this possible. As we will share later in the meeting, each of you makes a significant difference in the lives of our girls. And they wouldn't be growing into becoming these incredible young leaders without the mentorship of all of you as their troop leaders and supportive adults. Now, as we begin our meeting, I'd like to introduce first our board of directors that have served the council for the 2022-23 board year. We will begin with our board officers. Our chair, Dr. Gail Raceborough. Our first vice chair, the Honorable Virna Santos. Our second vice chair, Joanne Bazarian. Our board treasurer, Michael Osana. Our board secretary, Heather Walker-Jans. And then we have at-large board members, Fabiola Ramirez, Heather Brown, Kimberly Slavon, Kimberly Tapscott-Munson, Michael Alexander, Nora Creech, Robert Frausto, and Steve Barnes. We also are very blessed to have two girl representatives to the board who represent the voices of girls in all of our discussions. And I am so thankful to have them as trusted advisors to our management team and our board as we consider all of the actions that we take as an organization. And those two representatives are Alana W. and Destiny S. Thank you to all of our board members and girl representatives for your dedication, your time, and the passion that you have given us in Girl Scouts over the past year. Now, in true Girl Scout fashion, we will begin our meeting today with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem and the Girl Scout Promise and Law. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance with Marin Y. from Troop 5150 and the singing of the National Anthem from Priscilla L. from Troop 8121. We invite any current or past military to salute in the appropriate manner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible.
with justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. Priscilla L. will now lead us through our Girl Scout Promise and Law Live. We can have Priscilla spotlighted on the screen.
Please join me in the Girl Scout Promise. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. The Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, responsible for what I say and do, respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
Thank you, Priscilla, and thank you, Girl Scouts. Our promise and law is one of our most important traditions, and it roots us in all that we do. Before we get started with the business of our meeting, we would like to cover some important housekeeping items. To facilitate open and transparent debate amongst council delegates and an effective annual business meeting, the Board of Directors have adopted the following virtual procedures in accordance with Section 7.3 of the Council Bylaws. The virtual meeting procedures will serve as the rules of order for our meeting. All motions and resolutions shall be made in written form and submitted to the chair via the Zoom meeting platform's written communications function, or via email to governance@girlscoutsccs.org. Council delegates will remain on mute while speakers provide information and make presentations on each agenda item. Once the presentation concludes for the agenda item, the chair shall entertain a motion, a second, and open discussion and debate. Council delegates that wish to speak or provide comments via the Zoom meeting platform's written communication function on items on the agenda shall state their name, position, service unit, and troop. The remarks should be addressed to the chair and relate to the agenda item under discussion. Each council delegate speaking to an agenda item shall have 2 minutes to speak. To ensure that all council delegates have an opportunity to speak, No council delegate may speak twice until everyone wishing to speak has had the opportunity to do so. Questions regarding any items on the agenda to be considered at the meeting may be asked by the council delegates after the speaker has concluded the presentation. Proposals considered at the meeting are limited to those items specifically included in the notice of the meeting and agenda in accordance with the council bylaws. Such proposals will be voted on as presented. Motions on all items on the agenda will be made by a representative of the board or committee making the recommendation. Each motion will be allotted a minimum of 5 minutes for discussion and debate, subject to extension by the chair. Debates may also be extended by a 2/3 vote or closed in less than 5 minutes by a motion to call the question made by a council delegate. A motion to call the question takes precedence over any motion on the floor and also requires a 2/3 vote. If the motion is passed, an immediate vote on the question at hand is called. To second a motion or to ask questions or debate, council delegates may type into the Zoom meeting platform's written communication function or request to speak by utilizing the reactions function in Zoom and clicking on the hand raise icon. Staff will confirm that the individual is a council delegate and advise the chair of their interest in speaking, who will then have their line unmuted at the appropriate time. There will be a variety of times where we will call for a vote by the council delegates. These items are reflected in the notice of the meeting and agenda as action items. Voting members are defined under our council bylaws as service unit delegates, members of the council board of directors, and members of the board development committee. When the chair calls for a vote, voting may take place using the Zoom's poll function and or by the chair calling for voting members to be unmuted with a vote by voice acclamation at the discretion of the chair. For voting using Zoom's poll function, council delegates participating by phone may submit their vote via email to governance@girlscoutsccs.org. Council delegates participating only by phone may second a motion or debate or discuss a motion by emailing governance@girlscoutsccs.org with a request to speak. Staff will confirm that the individual is a delegate and advise the chair of their interest in speaking, who will then have their line unmuted at the appropriate time. For technical assistance during our meeting, please text 559-970-4543 or email governance@girlscoutsccs.org. Now that we've covered introductions and the procedures for our meeting, I want to briefly cover today's agenda. We will be covering a variety of business topics today, a summary of which on your screen is in the form of an agenda. We will begin today's meeting with a confirmation and certification of quorum. Our board chair will then call the annual business meeting to order, followed by the review and approval of the 2023 annual business meeting agenda and the 2022 annual business meeting minutes. We will then have the State of the Council presentation, followed by an interactive State of the Girl discussion panel. We will then hear from our GSCCS delegation to the 56th National Council Session of Girl Scouts of the USA. The Board Treasurer's report, recognition of outgoing board and committee members, approval of the slate of nominees for Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee, approval of the proposed amended bylaws, a review of the quarterly delegate roundtable schedule, and roundtable breakout sessions, followed by closing remarks and the adjournment of the 2023 annual business meeting. I'd now like to turn it over to the wonderful chair of our Board of Directors, Dr. Gail Braceborough, to officially call this meeting to order.
Thank you, Michelle. It's now time to start the business portion of our meeting. Prior to our official call to order, I'd like to introduce our council's attorney, Lisa Norton, from Sagaster, Watkins, and Whelan, PC, who will be serving as the parliamentarian today. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us for the annual meeting and for assisting us throughout the year. It's now time to confirm that we have established quorum as required under the council's bylaws. Heather Walker-Jans, our board secretary, would you please confirm that we do have a quorum?
Madam Chair, in accordance with the bylaws of the corporation, I am pleased to certify to you that we have over 1/3 of the voting council delegates present, which constitutes a quorum. You may proceed with the business meeting.
Thank you, Heather. The meeting is officially called to order. Our first item of business is the review and the approval of the 2023 agenda. The agenda that Michelle went over briefly has been provided as attachment 1 in the annual business meeting packet in accordance with the notice of meeting required under our council bylaws. May I now have a motion to accept the agenda?
I, Gail Vaughn, with Troop 2864, will motion to approve.
Very good. Do I have a second?
I, Cook Tat, motion for the agenda to be approved. Troop 2581, Service Unit 649.
Wonderful. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll take our first vote on the approval of the agenda. You will see on your screen a Zoom poll. Please cast your vote using this Zoom poll. We'll wait 30 seconds for the tabulation of the votes. Okay, thank you. The results of the vote were on your screen, and as you saw, the motion has passed and the agenda is adopted. Now we must review and approve the minutes of our last annual business meeting. The minutes are attachment 4 in your packet, and they're also on the screen. May I have a motion to accept the 2022 annual business meeting minutes?
I make a motion, Gail, to accept the annual 2022 business meeting minutes.
A motion has been received from Joanne Bazarian. Do I have a second?
Lydia
Torres.
I second the motion. Michelle McGeehee, Service Unit 643.
Very good. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we will vote on our minutes, approval of the minutes. Again, you have a Zoom poll on your screen. Please cast your vote, and we will wait 30 seconds for all the votes to be tabulated. Very good. I just love this technology. Now we can see the results are in. The motion has passed and the minutes are adopted. It's now time for the State of the Council report from our GSCCS leadership team, beginning with our CEO, Dr. Russell Statham.
As we reflected on the state of our council in 2023, it became clear to all of us on the leadership team that the state of our council is deeply interconnected to the state of the girls in our council and across the country. As many of you know, 2023 may be the first, quote, normal year since our COVID-19 pandemic seriously disrupted the lives of all of our girl members. And still, we are seeing both the residual impact of that disruption in areas like mental wellness and feeling connected in the communities that GSCCS operates in. What is so heartening is the resilience of our girls, our volunteers, and everyone throughout our council, as you'll see in today's State of the Council address. During our strategic planning process, which we kicked off 2 years ago, our council chose to center our vision on being girl first. In doing so, we have deepened our partnerships with community organizations, and we've created new opportunities for girls to participate in our life-changing Girl Scout Leadership Experience program. Today, we are extending our commitment to being girl first in today's business meeting agenda. In sharing with you our State of the Council address, we're going to hear directly from girls. In a few moments, I'm going to invite several members of our Girl Scouts to join me on stage for our State of the Girl panel discussion. But before I do, I wanted to share some insights about our council's progress against our strategic plan. For that, I've asked our new interim Chief Mission Delivery Officer, Jen Hollern, to share an assessment of our success in delivering our mission to girls. Jen is an executive consultant who has been in the Girl Scout movement for more than 10 years. In her previous role, she was an executive leader at GSUSA, and I worked closely with Jen on our country's strategic membership plan. And I appreciated her approach to understanding data, to prioritizing the needs of our girls and families, and her practical yet visionary strategy. Jen has been working with our council for the past 3 months, focusing on the insights that she'll share with you in furthering our mission today. Jen, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Russell. It is so good to see you all. I have been working with Russell and this council for over 5 years, so I have really loved getting to know the staff and a few of our volunteers already on a deeper level. Girl Scouts has always allowed me to combine some of my professional passions, which include data and strategy, and very importantly, the people that we serve. Today, I'd like to share a few insights that truly reflect the amazing work that the staff and the volunteers on this call have accomplished together. I'll start with the good news. We are reaching more girls after losing 45% of our girl membership between 2019 and 2021. During this time, we not only experienced membership declines related to the COVID-19 pandemic, but we also chose to end the Girl Scout Connect program as part of our council strategy. We found that the girls in that program were not experiencing the full Girl Scout experience. So we chose to refocus our efforts on providing traditional Girl Scouting and have grown that program ever since. We are now close to serving the same number of girls as we were in 2020, expecting to reach over 9,000 girls by the end of this year. What's particularly remarkable about our rebound over the last 3 years is our consistency in increasing our retention of girls. Prior to the pandemic, we found that over half of our girls left after their first year of Girl Scouting. We saw a 42% first-year retention rate in 2018. That means our largest loss of members occurred after just 1 year in the program. It was a huge wake-up call. So we invested in areas like creating a troop support team, increasing the number of council-led events in our program, and learning what volunteers needed most. And since then, we have increased year one retention by 10% or more every year since. And we're not done. This year, we also sought to learn more about who we are serving in our troops. As you all know, the entire Girl Scout program is built around 6 individual program levels. Yet in our council, about 88% of our troops are actually multi-level troops. Most of them are serving 3 or more program grade levels in their troop. So this year, we began redesigning our approach to areas such as our council-led events. We have filled over 10,000 spots in council-led events in the last year. I'm sure that folks on this call are familiar with the program guide that was released last year, which displayed a year's worth of exciting events for girls and families and troops in this council. We filled more than 10,000 spots in those events, which is particularly impressive because at the time of this analysis, our total membership was just over 12,000 members. But the light blue bar here shows that many of those 10,000 spots at our events were filled by members who attended multiple events, which is a great problem to have. It shows that most of the members, after attending one event, chose to come back again. Yet, only a small portion of our total members know that events are available outside of their troop experience, and that is really important. Our research shows that girls have a more well-rounded Girl Scout experience when they participate in at least one event outside of their troop meeting. So we tested this theory. At the time of this analysis, we had about 8,000 total girl members registered this year in FY23. Of those, just over 3,100 have already renewed for the next year of Girl Scouts through the Early Bird campaign, which is a renewal rate of about 39%, and that's good for Early Bird at this point in the year. Nearly 5,800 of those girls did not participate in a council event. 1,800 had renewed during the Early Bird campaign, and so that's a slightly lower renewal rate of 32%. But of the individual girls who did participate in a council event, more than 1,200 have already signed up for next year, which is an impressive 73% renewal rate. It proves that girls who do attend events that expand their Girl Scout experience, they're more likely to return for the following year and get the benefit of the Girl Scout program. So this year, here's what you can expect. You're going to find that we have created more multi-level events to really accommodate who it is our troops are serving. We also shifted many events, particularly for troops with older girls, to the weekend to better fit into their busy schedules. And we're prepared to serve 15,000 spots at council-led events this year. We're also planning on new ways to introduce our newest troops to event experiences in every part of our council strategy, including how our properties support event experiences. Later in tonight's program, during our time together, we're going to collect your input on how to use our council's physical locations to better serve girls. In addition to our membership analysis and analyzing our troops' experiences and our council-led events, we also really dug into the experience our girls are having in the cookie program. First, evaluating who it is participates in the cookie program. And we found that only 16% of our new members are receiving the benefit of the cookie program. This means our newest members are not only missing out on one of the most exciting parts of Girl Scouting for girls, they are missing out on the entrepreneurship skills that they aren't able to learn anywhere else. And in their first year, the really unique opportunity to fund their upcoming Girl Scout adventures, right? But we do know, we'll acknowledge that the cookie program is, in the first year especially, can be challenging. So right now we're putting together plans to ease the burden, yet keep all the fun and learning intact for our newest Girl Scouts. We've heard a lot of feedback too about the fall product program, especially participating in the earliest part of the season. So we're investing in ways to make it easier to participate during this time. And I'm wrapping up kind of talking about cookie program participation. So it kind of feels necessary to call out the elephant in the room that always exists around this discussion. I want to be really clear. We are not talking about increasing participation of girls in the entrepreneurship program in order to increase council revenue. That is just, it's just not what it's about. For GSCCS, this chart is what it's about. Data shows that when girls participate in the program for more than 1 year, they are more likely to learn and deepen their entrepreneurship skills that will then serve them for a lifetime. This chart also debunks this long-standing belief that older Girl Scouts are less effective in the cookie program, right? I have heard for years that middle and high school girls lose this like adorable factor standing in front of grocery stores selling cookies at booths, and they sell less than younger girls. However, last year, our older girls sold on average 500 boxes of cookies, which is remarkable. It continues to demonstrate that as girls participate in our entrepreneurship program year after year, their skills grow year after year. I want to continue celebrating the accomplishments of our older girls, especially the 112 girls who earned a highest award in the last year, including 8 Gold Award Girl Scouts. If you are one of the members who earned your highest award in the last year on this call, congratulations. We're also enabling more girls every year to continue experiencing Girl Scouts. GSCCS distributed nearly $200,000 in financial aid to ensure that money is not a barrier for girls to join. With an emphasis on rebuilding troop opportunities for members who we weren't able to reach during COVID, we also formed 55 new troops in the last year. And all of that work has led us to be the #1 council in the country for membership growth this year, which is absolutely an achievement of every single person on this call. All of the staff, our amazing board volunteers, our dedicated delegates, service unit volunteers, and especially the girl serving troop volunteers on tonight's call. You all are literally changing lives. Before I transition to our girl panel, I wanted to quickly share a story about how it is you're doing that. Across the country, you have likely heard experts raise that youth are in a mental health crisis. As we emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic, the Girl Scout Research Institute conducted a study on mental health. One of the clear findings is that girls continue to experience a significant stigma around mental health nationwide, as well as in the really small circles in their local communities and their schools. Our girls told us, and experts agree, that having a safe space that has a positive view of mental health is really critical to experiencing positive mental health. So we asked girls, where are those safe spaces in your life? And Girl Scouts was at the top of that list. We then drilled down even further and asked, within Girl Scouts, what aspect is most helpful in supporting positive mental health? Above the Girl Scout Council or our Girl Scout programming, or even Girl Scouts overall, the answer girls shared was their troop leader. Hard stop. More than their family, right? More than their school, our troop leaders on this call are the safest space our girls have to foster positive mental health. One of the girls who participated in this research summarized it very simply. She explained that during the pandemic, she struggled with mental health and noted the important role her troop leader played in her life at that time, telling us very plainly, honestly, my troop leader saved my life. As you can see in the data tonight, the quote from this girl, the role you all play in the lives of girls goes so much further than helping them earn a vest full of badges. In ways you may not even know, you are changing their lives. And in some cases, you might be saving it. As volunteers, I hope you feel deeply proud of the work we've accomplished together. I'm concluding our State of the Council report, and I'm very excited to now turn our attention back to Fresno and hear from our own Girl Scouts on the state of the girl. Russell?
Thank you so much, Jen. And I am so thrilled to be joined by 3 amazing young ladies today, great Girl Scouts within our council. And we're going to be talking a little bit about kind of the state of the girl and what challenges are facing our girls in today's lives, what their thoughts are on those challenges. But before we begin, I'd just love to have our girl panelists go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about maybe how long you've been in Girl Scouts, your name, and what troop you're in.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a cadet, 9th year in Troop 2402. Hi, I'm Jenna. I've been in Girl Scouts for 2 years and I'm in Troop 2864.
Hi, I'm Mars. I've been in Girl Scouts since kindergarten, and I'm in Troop 1046.
Awesome. So the first question, and please, audience and our delegates, if you have any questions you'd like for us to ask the girls, go ahead and put it into the chat. We'd love to take some audience questions if we can, just depending on time. So my first question is, what challenges are you and your peers facing, and what can we at Girl Scouts do to support you in those challenges?
Well, there definitely has been a rise of mental health issues, especially in younger teens and, just people our age. Just there are so many outside stresses that are kind of put on us from such a young age, especially as girls, just to always be doing things right, to always
Be happy.
and it's just rarely talked about, really. Mental health, it's just one of those things that we're kind of told to keep quiet about, and that definitely does not help.
Yeah.
And you're also pressured to about certain things you should or shouldn't do, or clothes you should or shouldn't wear, when it doesn't really matter.
I would say that like social expectations, like in social media, we're putting out that persona of what people want us to expect and how we should, if you're using like a filter or you're not, then it could be weird. But then if you're not using a filter, then you're kind of just outside of that bubble.
What factors would you say, and I think you've alluded to a few of them, what factors would you say are the biggest things that are taking a toll on girls' mental health today?
Oh, I have lots. There's so much exclusivity, oh, girls can't do this, or, oh, you should stick to these things that you're good at and stuff like that. But then there's also this just wave of hate that's been rising recently, especially with social media, and it's, against women, against, just all these different groups of people. And we're just kind of expected to sit there and take it. And then on top of that, the world's on fire and we can't do anything about it. And we just have to trust the adults who are in charge, but it feels like nothing is happening. And then all of those things are just happening at once. And it's hard to be happy and to just relax and enjoy things.
And it's all a little bit confusing sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can all like push ourselves to that breaking point, but then when we like say it, or we're being like too dramatic, or well, you need to slow down because what I'm feeling and what you're feeling, I'm not feeling about that. Just you can go on with what you're doing and how you feel.
Have you found in Girl Scouts that there have been particular programs that have helped you to share that voice and sort of develop that confidence to be able to share those perspectives with others?
Before Girl Scouts, I never would have been able to do anything like this. I was terrified of public speaking. I was a super quiet kid. It was hard for me to share my opinions about anything. And being in Girl Scouts my whole childhood has sort of built up that confidence, and I've gotten better at public speaking. This is the kind of thing I enjoy now. And I know I have lots of thoughts and opinions, and Girl Scouts has given me an outlet to be able to share them. That's great.
Girl Scouts has really helped me be more confident with the skills I want to learn, but I'm not sure I can learn. But then I find I can do them, and I am glad that I'm now in Girl Scouts.
Like we can all make our friends in school and in our troop, but then one thing I'm also excited about is camp, because you're meeting new people and they all have like different stories on like how they felt before, or maybe like they help you on what you're thinking, and just kind of push you through that like mindset that you can be you.
So I have to ask, this wasn't a scripted question, but my camp name is Ranger Russ. Do you guys have camp names? If so, what are they?
So I do have a camp name. My camp name is Orion. It's my favorite constellation. I was at Cookie Camp these last 2 years. So hi, if you know me from Cookie Camp.
I also have a camp name. It's Tigers. And I got it because my Chinese zodiac is the tiger, and I really like it.
Once we were doing archery this year and I got a few bullseyes, so I was kind of called Bullseye.
Awesome, I love that. I did archery actually my first time at the Girl Scout camp, so that was first for me too. Where do you experience the greatest societal pressures in your life? And is there a way that Girl Scouts can help with that?
I feel like so much of it these days is online. There's always, it's like you're always being perceived. It's whatever you post, whatever you say online, everyone is constantly looking at it, and you're almost always thinking about what is the right thing to say that will make more people like
They're
me.
kind of looking for that flaw.
Yeah, it's just so, that's where I personally feel like I get most of that societal
And people
pressure.
are always judging you on what you say, what you do, what you wear. And I don't have much of that experience with that because I'm homeschooled. But sometimes I feel some of that pressure, but Girl Scouts really helps.
Yeah, okay. Girl Scouts definitely gave me a place to just kind of be myself. And I know it's a place like that for lots of girls. And it's definitely been, at camp every year, I tell the girls like, oh, stop trying to be cool. Let's just have fun. Cause they're like, oh, I don't want to play that game. I don't want to do a skit. Yes, you do. And you can admit it, and you can just have fun without being worried about people judging you like that.
Yeah, I really have to agree with Jenna because I'm also homeschooled too. But like experience with my friends are always I have to wear this because if I don't wear this, then I'm not liked. Or if I act a certain way, or if I act too childish, then people probably don't want to hang out with me. Or if I'm too mature, then people are gonna think, oh, I'm trying too hard and just pushing.
What do you wish that adults knew about your experience as girls in 2023? Maybe that's different than when we were growing up. That might be different for you.
Everybody's looking at me. There's so much more information just constantly at our fingertips being shown to us. And it's all of this online sort of stuff. There's just this new kind of stress that I feel is on younger people. And it's just so hard to relax and be happy and not be stressed out. And it's, the Hawaii is on fire. So is all of Spain. It's just everything is happening all at once, and you can see it and you're experiencing all of it through the internet. And it's just so impossible to take a step back from it. And it's, yeah.
And I think when I actually was a counselor for Twilight Camp, if anybody knows what that is, and we were setting it up, and the adults were helping, but they were just helping, not like we were in charge. And my troop leader helped too, and she was like, okay, what do you want us to do? What should we do for this? What should we do for that? And the adults were asking us what to do instead of us asking them.
I would say is that we can't always live up to expectations because we're just kids. We should be able to not also just listen to you and what you have to say, but we should also have our choice to choose what we want to do in our own way and just follow our path.
So I think that kind of goes into the next question. You know, what can we as adults do to better support you in Girl Scouts or just in your day-to-day lives? If you had advice for your troop leaders or us at council, what would that be?
I would say that just because, daisies, they're like all fun and they're like just showing like true being all happy and stuff. Like just because we're getting older doesn't mean we're gonna lose interest. Like maybe someone does, but then there's always gonna be that person that's, oh, I'm a Girl Scout, I'm gonna go through with it. I can just do what I want, and you can help us by encouraging us to be just us.
Yeah. And one of the Girl Scouts in our troop, and she did a gold award about and some mostly cadets are leaving Girl Scouts, and I feel that adults can help us by helping us figure out what we can do so we stay interested in Girl Scouts and we want to stay in it, not just leave.
I feel that I had a very unique sort of leadership journey with my mom kind of always being, she was the leader of my troop and now she works here at council. So she's always kind of been with me. And I think a few years ago when she kind of took a step back as I was going into middle school, high school, that's when I really started to find my voice because I wasn't just falling back on her. And I was really just starting to find my own voice. And I think that's definitely something that other adults need to just take a step back and let girls have their own voice.
So when you look to the future, what is it that is most exciting for you that you're looking forward to?
I am looking forward to the future with Girl Scouts because I'm hoping to be a leader in the future, like be part of the council or be a leader of my own troop, or even being a counselor or higher at camp.
Something that makes me excited to see girls of different backgrounds, but then also on that note that we also have to acknowledge the material of people that speak different languages, because like there's sometimes posters and like papers that are passed out at your school, and what if your parents don't know English or they can't read English and the girl really wants to go to Girl Scouts but her parents don't know anything about it.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, definitely that expanding of horizons is definitely something to look forward to. Something I'm looking forward to is definitely seeing younger girls stepping up and sort of taking the reins in the same way that I did. And it warms my heart to see girls, especially like you, just here and caring about this and voicing your opinions.
Well, we are so proud of all of you. Do we have a few minutes?
We have time for
questions?
one or two questions from the chat. So we'll head over to the chat and see if anyone has a question. We'll open it up. If anyone has a question they'd like to ask the girls, it can be a big picture or it can be something really specific about their favorite programs or camp. So we'll see what comes through the chat. I'm sure everyone is probably typing away, trying to get their questions. Our board chair, Gail, has said, thank you for your transparency and insight, Girl Scouts. I appreciate that you taught me and gave me some things to consider tonight. Lots of accolades. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your thoughts. It's very insightful to how our own girls are likely thinking. This is great. And we'll probably take maybe the first question. Wow, this one is, like I said, they could be specific or they could be big picture. This one is very specific. Girls, what would you like to see in the Girl Scout store and the Gold Mine store?
Someone was just talking about
I
this a
know.
couple minutes ago. Go ahead.
I personally, I like stickers for my water bottle, so I was thinking there's like one really specific like theme in the store for like the stickers. I would like really like to see like plants or like seasons or states and stuff like that. Just like different stickers.
Also sure. I'm really into enamel pins. Yeah, it's a hard question.
That's a very specific question.
Definitely agree with Grace.
What I would also like to see is that we all can like look, because we're all like cadets, juniors and stuff, but like I want to see more specific stuff for like cadets. Like I can already see somewhat kind of like there's like junior like necklaces, daisy stuff, but then you also want something to show, oh, I'm a cadet in Girl Scouts and I want something to wear or to have that makes me feel that way.
So I'm going to combine a couple of questions here, I think around the same theme. What types of things that you love about Girl Scouts that keeps you coming back, and what types of programs, adventures, maybe things that we're not doing that you would like to see us do that would really inspire you or your fellow peers to get involved in Girl Scouts?
Okay. So I do Miss Media, so I'm helping out with like TV promos and stuff like that, and I'm really excited because I get to share about Girl Scouts, but then I also get to meet the other girls that are doing it too, so I get to make a few more friends.
And I love just getting to go to camp and have fun adventures, and I also love that we get to choose the themes for the camps each year. And we have lots of ideas for the different themes.
Camp is always a fun one. That's like, I do wish we could do more camp. I know we have like cookie camp every year and then Twilight camp usually. And then yeah, Elohim. And I would love for there to be more ways to get involved with camp. Though I feel overwhelmingly for Girl Scouts, just the sense of community is enough to just keep me, it's what kept me here for 13 years. It's just always been such a tight-knit community.
And when I first joined, everybody in my troop already knew each other, and then they just welcomed me in like I was always one of them, like a sister.
Girl Scout sisters.
And that's really what Girl Scouts is about, right? The sisterhood. Yeah. So we're going to do one more question and then we're going to have to wrap up. What is something that you've done in Girl Scouts that you didn't think you would have ever done and you wouldn't have done if you weren't in Girl Scouts?
I have the big one. So my troop this year, we've been planning this for about 2 years now. We decided, since so many of the older girls didn't get to have these like small experiences during COVID, that we were just going to save all of our money and take a troop trip to Switzerland. And we stayed in the Girl Scout chalet. And we got to just do so many cool things. We stayed in Paris for a few days too, just while we were there. And it was just an incredible experience. We got to meet girl guides from other countries and learn about different customs. And we got to, do I have my chalet pin? I don't know if I have it on me. Oh, but we got to do a pinning ceremony and just learn about different places. And it was just so amazing to be able to experience that.
And I would have never done stuff like horseback riding, archery, and many other things if I wasn't in Girl Scouts.
I would say Girl Scouts and Miss Media that I do, it helped me give that like reassurance that I can do this and I have the confidence, because not everybody can do public speaking. Like there's always that kind of point where like yes, but then again, no. So that helped me a lot.
Well, Mars, Jenna, and Grace, I am so thankful for you guys being here today and for you opening up and sharing your experiences. We are just super proud of you in Girl Scouts, and you are the reason that all of us are here. You're the reason that we work for the organization. You're the reason our delegates on the call, our volunteers, everyone is so passionate about making sure that you guys have amazing experiences. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Can we give everybody a virtual round of applause? I'm just so inspired. So we are now going to transition, and I'm going to ask Michelle Taylor to come back to the stage, along with two of our council delegates, Roxanne Perez and Nicole Basham, who are going to speak with us about a really exciting topic, and that is the report from our 56th National Council Session of Girl Scouts of the USA. Michelle, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Russell. I think I can speak for everyone here tonight. I was looking at the comments. That was absolutely highlight of the evening, probably highlight of the week for a lot of us. So just one more kind of virtual round of applause and encouragement in the comments. Make sure to pump them up about what an amazing job they did. Also want to thank Jen for just a valuable glimpse into the state of the council as we really saw what we're doing and where we're going, the path we're charting together. So this past July, our council sent a delegation to the 56th National Council Session in Orlando, Florida. There, our council delegates participated in the democratic process by voting on movement-wide proposals impacting the future of Girl Scouts in the US. Tonight, you'll hear from two of our NCS delegates on the proposals brought to the floor and their experience at convention. I was fortunate enough to be there, and it was the best group we could have hoped for. We had a great time, so I'm so happy to see their lovely faces again on the screen. I will bring Roxanne forward to the virtual stage, and then she will tell us about proposals 1 through 3 and a little bit more about her experience.
Hello, Girl Scouts. I'm excited to tell you a little more about the proposals that came to floor and my experience. Proposal 1 was allowing the possibility of virtual attendance for National Council sessions and special sessions of the National Council. It was originated by Girl Scouts of Eastern Pennsylvania. This proposal included multiple amendments and other actions, and the proposal was approved. Proposal 2 was to amend the Girl Scout promise and law to use more potent, actionable language. This was originated by Girl Scouts Heart of New Jersey. Basically, they wanted to delete the words try and to and do my best and insert the word will. This proposal was defeated. Proposal 3 was asking to require the national board to include 3 CEOs. This was originated by Girl Scouts of Greater Atlanta, and this proposal was defeated. I have to say, I enjoyed NCS immensely. What an honor to be there and experience and feel all those amazing women in the room speak their mind. The discussions and debates were phenomenal. I admired the research, the preparation that the young girls and the adults did, their passion in their voices when they spoke. What an honor to hear that. And also the courage that these young ladies and the young Girl Scouts had when they spoke, and it was just amazing. It truly, truly was. And in our own council, I had never met the 3 girl delegates that went with us, CJ, Alana, and Nicole. I had amazing conversations with these young ladies. And I am so proud that they are in our council. And kudos to their leaders and their parents, their thoughts and views on the proposals. I just love to ask them questions. And they had educational research words for me that they shared, and I enjoyed it. And then the last thing I have to say, that it was great to see that these young ladies saw that their voices and their thoughts mattered. And that's what's important, because we want these girls to know that they are the leaders of the future, and how they feel and think can change things. So I just want to say thanks that I was chosen to go, and I hope to take many girls next time. I would like to invite Girl Delegate Nicole Basham to give an overview of proposals 4 to 7 and tell us about her personal experience at NCS.
All right, thank you, Roxanne. As a Girl Delegate, this annual business meeting is a fond reminder of our Girl Scout community and parliamentary process, much like this year's National Council session. Proposal 4, approved as amended, Constitutional Amendment DEIRJ language proposal, originated by Girl Scouts of the USA National Board on recommendation of the DEIRJ Board Advisory Committee. Proposal to amend the preamble of the Constitution by inserting the words "and anti-racism" after the word "pluralism" in both places where the word occurs. Adopted language: diversity, pluralism, and anti-racism. Girl Scouts advance diversity, pluralism, and anti-racism, and actively identify and oppose racism by removing systematic barriers to participation in our movement and in the communities in which we live. Proposal 5, defeated. Constitutional Amendment Formula for Delegates, originated by Farthest North Girl Scout Council. Proposal to amend Article 4, National Council, Section 5, by striking the numbers 3,500 in every place where it occurs and replacing it with the number 1,000, and by striking the word "no" and replacing it with the words "as close to but not" in the last sentence. Blue Book remains unchanged. Article 4, National Council Session, Section 5, page 8. Proposal 6, approved as presented, Constitutional Amendment, Timing of Delegate Allocation, originated by Girl Scouts of the USA National Board of Directors on recommendation of the National Council Session Advisory Team. Proposal that Article 4, the National Council, Section 5, Formula for Delegates, of the Constitution of Girl Scouts of the USA be amended by striking of the year and inserting the words 2 years before the word preceding. Adopted wording: each local council to which a charter has been issued and remains in force shall be entitled to the following delegates based on the number of girls under its jurisdiction who are members of the Girl Scouts of the United States of America as of September 30th, 2 years preceding the regular session of the National Council. A, 2 delegates. 1, B, 1 additional delegate up to every 3,500 girls. C, 1 additional delegate for every 3,500 girls thereafter. Proposal 7, approved as presented, Girl Scout Gold Award Scholarship, originated by Girl Scouts of the USA National Board on the recommendation of the Movement Gold Award Scholarship Foundation Task Force. Approved proposal that the National Council hereby affirms the recommendation of the Movement Gold Award Scholarship Foundation Task Force to create a donor-restricted fund in support of Gold Award scholarships, and that in recognition of its importance, the existence of such fund shall be reflected in the Blue Book of Basic Documents, in the fundraising policies section of the Blue Book, or any successor session of the Blue Book as may be appropriate from time to time. I enjoyed being a national delegate representing our council. It was an amazing experience that furthered my communication skills by connecting with members from across the nation. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you all today and invite Michelle Taylor to close out our NCS recap.
Thank you, Nicole and Roxanne, both for your participation here tonight, and then also for your time and dedication you've invested as a council delegate. I just want to take just a moment and thank our delegates and our alternates who represented our council so well. And just a personal note, in true Girl Scout fashion, much as we've heard "Make New Friends, Keep the Old," just as Girl Scouts do at every event, every time they gather together, just as our girls here became very fast friends for our girl panel, our NCS group, it was not only a formal delegation to NCS, but I think we all left, like I said, in Girl Scout fashion as friends as well. So just thank you to everyone who came, our alternates, our delegates, our board chair, CEO, and council staff. And then next, I would like to invite Michael Osana, our board treasurer, to share the board treasurer's report.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you all for taking the time today to attend the annual meeting and your investment in making the world a better place for girls. I am Michael Osana, and I have the pleasure of serving on the board of directors as treasurer. It is my pleasure to report to you on the financial health of Girl Scouts of Central California South. The Girl Scouts of Central California South September 30th, 2022 financial statements were audited by the CPA firm Vasson, Hein & Company. The financials were issued with an unqualified opinion. An unqualified opinion means all disclosures are included in the financials or footnotes and are properly reported. That the financials and footnotes are compliant with generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP, which are standards issued by the AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and the presentation standards of the Financial Accounting Standards Board, or FASB. Staff and management cooperated fully with the auditors. The auditor did not find any material misstatements in the financials and footnotes, nor did they find any weaknesses in the internal controls. Now, that was a lot of financial jargon. Basically, the auditor did not find any issues with how the financial numbers are recorded, presented in the financials, or in how staff and management accounting procedures are performed. This slide shows the assets and liabilities of the council in comparison between the 2021 and 2022 fiscal year ends. Current assets, which are defined as cash and other assets that are expected to be converted to cash within 1 year, increased. The increase was due primarily to an increase in cash. This was due to receipt of Employment Retention Tax Credit, also known as ERTC, and a reduction in operating expenses due to management's fiscal spending. Investments decreased due to the decrease in the market value of the investments. These are primarily in stocks and bonds. The increase in land, buildings, and equipment was the net result of the additions for the renovation of the Taft Scout House, the disposal of old and obsolete equipment, and the depreciation expense the council has allowed for the use of the buildings and the equipment. The end result of the assets for the year was an increase in assets of $129,082. Current liabilities increased due to an increase in accounts payable, accrued payroll for October 7th, 2022 payroll, and deferred revenue of early renewal of membership. Deferred revenue is the renewal of membership, early bird memberships, and extended year memberships for the 2022-2023 membership year. The deferred revenue is recognized in full on October 1st, 2022. Notes payable and long-term debt decreased due to the forgiveness of the Paycheck Protection Program loan. Additionally, the council did not have to rely on its line of credit by September 30th. As such, no liability is reflected in notes payable. The Fresno office and Bakersfield office had no mortgage during the fiscal year. As such, no liability is reflected in notes payable. This slide shows the revenues the council received for the year. Public support decreased during the year. This decrease was due to a decrease in donor contributions. We also saw a decrease in in-kind support compared to the previous year. Product programs revenues increased during the 2021-2022 fiscal year, and the increase of troops participating and girls selling in both the fall product and cookie programs. Additionally, the council was able to continue the cookie donor buyout program that allowed the community to donate to support troop cookie sales and donate the cookies to another community connection. Retail store revenues increased during the year. This was the result of a return to normal business hours for the store and additional GSCCS branded items being brought into the store, both of which resulted in increased revenue. Program service revenue also increased. This is the result of increasing numbers of our girls attending our council-held Girl Scout programs. Other revenue decreased as a result of less COVID-19 funding received in the fiscal year 2021-2022 compared to 2020-2021. Overall, the council's revenue increased by $264,800 year over year. As you can see in the chart in the top right corner, the council's largest source of revenue is product sales. This includes cookies and fall product. This represented 84.68% of the council's revenue in fiscal year 2021-2022. The second highest source of revenue for the council is public support at 6.17% of our revenues. Retail stores revenue is 3.9% from our retail stores. Program revenue is 3.24% of our revenue, and other income is 2.61%. The chart on the bottom right side shows the breakdown of our public support during the fiscal year. Direct cash contributions made up 67.76% of our public support. In-kind donations of goods and services were 19.26% of our public support. Grants from other organizations made up 12.65% of the public support. United Way donations were 0.33% of the public support. This slide shows the expenditures that the council had for the year. Total expenses for the fiscal year were $6,798,450. This was an increase of $1,053,414 over the prior year. The increase in expense was due to the increase in product costs, recognitions, and troop and service unit proceeds because of the increase in product sales from the year before. Additionally, postage and delivery, telecommunication and technology, professional services, and administrative supplies expenses also increased. The council spent 90.45% of its expenses on programs and services, 4.22% of its expenses on fund development, and 5.32% on support services, referred to as management and general. On average, the council spent $842.62 on programming per girl, $39.33 on fundraising per girl, and $49.60 on management support per girl. That's a pretty impressive return on a $40 membership per girl. Management's goal is to ensure that the girls are the top priority for the funds that are raised from the public support, product programs, and our other revenues. I think you'll agree that they are doing a great job in achieving that goal. This slide shows where we ended the fiscal year. The council showed a net income of $288,670 at the end of the year, compared to $1,077,284 at the end of last year. This is a negative change of $788,614. As I'll explain on the next slide, it is important for the council to be showing a net income at the end of each year, as we need to be building a sustainable level of reserves in order to protect the council from future unplanned events and fund deferred maintenance on our council's offices and program centers. This slide shows the types of net assets that are held at the council for fiscal years ended 2021 and 2022, respectively. Unrestricted funds are the funds that the council is allowed to use without constraint, subject to specific board designations and reserve requirements. As you can see, unrestricted net assets increased by $310,868. Temporarily restricted funds are funds to be used for a particular program or expense that has been designated and restricted by a donor or other agreement. These funds decreased by $22,198. This was due to the fair market value of the investments decreasing from the market. Permanently restricted funds are funds that the council is not able to use due to explicit donor stipulations. This is the result of endowments that have been set up based on specific donor agreements, where the council has the benefit of utilizing the investment gains generated from the endowments, but cannot utilize the principal gift. This is designed to ensure that the impact of these funds continues in perpetuity. These funds had no change. As we discussed last year, the frozen GSUSA pension plan for the previous staff and management is underfunded. It was frozen approximately 15 years ago. GSUSA performs annual valuations of the amounts due from each council each year. This amount may increase or decrease based on the investment performance. It has remained steady in the past several years, but it is a future challenge due to its unpredictability. GSUSA understands the burden this puts on the individual councils, and in 2022, the GSUSA National Board decided to sell the assets and the proceeds were applied to the pension liability. The council has nearly achieved an optimal funding of its reserves. Reserves are important to ensure that the council can sustain itself in the event of an organizational emergency or disruption to its revenue sources. This has been a major issue for councils across the country. A major disruption occurred in many councils during the past couple of years due to the economic effects of COVID-19 and natural disasters. The optimal GSUSA recommended level of reserve funding is 12 months. At the end of fiscal year 18-19, we had 4.6 months of reserves. Over the past few years, management has been thoughtful in ensuring the reserve funding is healthy. During 2021-2022 fiscal year, our reserves increased from 11.3 months to 11.8 months due to the increase in product program income and fiscal spending by management. This will fluctuate in the coming year with the acquisition of a new facility to replace our Bakersfield building. Now, I have given you a lot of financial numbers, graphs, and charts, but what I want you to take away from this is this. The Girl Scouts of Central California South is building a strong future for girls in Central California. Staff, management, and board members are building relationships with corporations, individuals, and foundations for future contributions that will invest in girls in the years to come. Staff, management, and board members are securing the assets the council has, investing in our future, and funding deferred maintenance. Hopefully, as you visit our offices and properties, you are seeing some of the changes being made. We have invested funds in the Fresno office with new air conditioners and securing the doors. We completed the renovation of the Taft Girl Scout House. Hopefully, your Trooper Service Unit will plan a trip out to see the house and use the outdoor fire ring, picnic tables, kitchen, and large indoor space. Council staff see the Taft Girl Scout House as a place for all GSCCS girls to meet and experience workshops in outdoor skills, STEM, life skills, etc. We've had some great events there recently, including outdoor training. Most importantly, troop leaders and the girls of Girl Scouts of Central California South are developing the future leaders through programs that teach entrepreneurship, management, philanthropy, love of nature, and kindness. These future leaders are the key to a successful Central California economy. Thank you to the Finance Committee members for providing their talents and ensuring the assets of Girl Scouts of Central California South are secured and available for the future of Girl Scouting in the Central Valley. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Okay, well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate your valuable knowledge, wisdom, and dedication, and all the time you've spent as a partner in this work. Before we move to our presentation of our slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee for the coming board year, I'd like to acknowledge our members who are moving off board or committees this year. I'm so pleased to report that all board members are returning, and we only have one committee member who is not returning. Ashley Full has been a great leader on our board development and fundraising committees, but Ashley has relocated out of the area and so will no longer continue serving. On behalf of all of us at GSCCS, we thank you both for your service and your dedication to the mission of Girl Scouts. It's now my pleasure to welcome Heather Walker-Jans to present the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee for consideration.
Good evening to you all. It is my honor and privilege to present the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee for the board year 2023-2024. This includes both new nominees and incumbents whose terms have expired, as some of the directors are not rotating off the board this year due to staggering appointment dates. I would like each of the 2023-2024 board member nominees to please raise your hand as I read your name. Dr. Gail Race-Bureau, Board Chair. The Honorable Verna Santos, Board First Vice Chair. Joanne Bazarian, Board Second Vice Chair. Michael Osana, Board Treasurer. Myself, Heather Walker-Jans, Board Secretary. Fabiola Ramirez, at-large Board Member. Heather Brown, at-large Board Member. Kimberly Slavan, at-large Board Member. Kimberly Tapscott Munson, at-large Board Member. Michael Alexander, at-large Board Member. Nora Creech, at-large Board Member. Robert Frausto, at-large Board Member. Steve Barnes, at-large Board Member. It is my pleasure to present to you the complete slate of officers of the board for the 2023-2024 board year, as included in the presentation and supporting materials in attachment 2. You can see them on this slide. You will see next to each individual whether that person is up for election this year or in a current term that has not yet expired. Next, we will have the complete slate of at-large board members for the 2023-2024 board year, as included in the presentation and supporting materials in attachment 2. You can see them on this slide. Again, you will see next to each individual whether that person is up for election this year or in a current term that has not yet expired. And finally, I would like also to present the slate of the Board Development Committee nominees for the 2023-2024 board year, as included in the presentation and supporting materials in attachment 2. You can see them on this slide. Again, you will see next to each individual whether that person is up for election this year or in a current term that has not yet expired. Thank you all for agreeing to be nominated to serve in these critical positions, and thank you to our Board Development Committee for their work throughout the past year to solicit nominations, interview candidates, and put forward the slates. Madam Chair, I move to submit the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee to the Council delegates for approval in accordance with our council bylaws.
Thank you, Heather. And thank you to the entire Board Development Committee for its work putting this slate of nominees together. The slate has now been officially presented according to the council bylaws, and Board Secretary Heather Walker-Jans has made a motion to support the slate. May I have a second?
I second Roxanne Perez, Service Unit 17.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll take a vote for the nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee as presented and included in the meeting materials. You'll see on your screen your Zoom poll. Please cast your vote using this poll. We'll wait 30 seconds for the tabulation of the votes. Wonderful. As you can see on your screen, the votes are in. The motion has passed and the slate is adopted. I'm also pleased to share with you our 2 girl representatives to the board for the 2023-2024 board year. Alana W. will continue in her 2nd year of service, and Priscilla L. will start the 1st year of her 2-year term. Thank you, ladies, for being willing to lead the critical girl voice throughout our discussions in our board meetings. Note that their emails are listed on the slide. Please encourage your Girl Scouts to share their feedback with them. Thank you to those of you who will be serving as on our council as officers and members of the boards of directors and the board development committee in the coming year. It's now time to introduce our proposed amended bylaws. And I'm going to do this at this time. So throughout 2023, the Board of Directors Bylaws Review Committee reviewed the Girl Scouts of Central California South's bylaws. As an organization, we review our bylaws every 3 years to ensure they conform to current organizational practices, standards for similar nonprofits, and recommended governance models, as well as any changes driven by Girl Scouts of the USA National Council session. The GSCCS Bylaws Review Committee was composed of myself as board chair, committee members David Gilmore, Honorable Verna Santos, Kimberly Tapscott Munson, and Council CEO Dr. Russell Statham, supported by Executive Assistant Tiffany Rodriguez. 2 of the GSCCS Bylaws Review Committee members, David Gilmore and Verna Santos, are attorneys admitted to practice law in California, and additionally, Verna is a Fresno County Superior Judge. Verna served as chair of the Bylaw Review Committee. Recommended changes to the bylaws were made, vetted, and reviewed by the GSCCS Bylaw Review Committee and presented to the Board of Directors for consideration and approval. The Board of Directors voted to approve the proposed amended bylaws in their July 23 meeting. While none of the proposed changes to the bylaws require the approval of the service unit delegates, the Board of Directors is presenting the proposed amended bylaws of GSCCS for final ratification and approval by the service unit delegates at this annual business meeting for transparency and discussion. For ease of understanding the changes being made, we have enclosed 2 copies of the Council's proposed amended bylaws, 1 clean copy, and 1 copy with the changes highlighted in red. Please note that the non-material formatting changes were not highlighted. Only changes in the actual wording has been included in the change tracking. And thank you tonight to the delegate who found 1 additional instance of capitalization needed for consistency and alerting to us in that fact in the chat. On behalf of the Bylaw Review Committee and on the board, I move to approve the proposed amendments to our council bylaws. May I have a second?
I second Elizabeth Basham, Service Unit 45.
Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we will take a vote on the approval of the proposed amended council bylaws as presented and included in the meeting materials. You will see your Zoom poll on the screen. Please cast your vote using the Zoom poll.
Neil, this is Steve Barnes. I'm not seeing the Zoom poll.
Yes, I see that. Several of us don't have the
We're
poll
just
button.
working through a technical difficulty here on our end. Paula is working expeditiously behind the scenes here. Everybody knows Paula and how amazing she is. So we'll have that up in just a second. If everyone could just give us 1 second.
I applaud all of the technology that goes into this. putting that Zoom poll up and tabulating all of those things. We appreciate all of your work. And when we say, oh, I don't have it, in my opinion, that's, oh, maybe I did something wrong and I don't see what I'm supposed to see. So thank you, Paula, for working on that.
Well, unfortunately, Paula, you've gone from amazing to just awesome since I'm not seeing it so rapidly.
Okay, I want you. Well, thank you, Steve, for calling me out on that one. I'll try better next time for sure.
Okay, I do see our Zoom poll is up to approve our amended council bylaws. So we'll give everybody some time to place their vote on their Zoom poll.
Paula is back to amazing.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that.
All right, we have our results of the Zoom poll. As you can see, the motion has passed. Russell, please come back to the stage to share with us our upcoming quarterly council delegate meeting schedule and to introduce our open forum breakout topic.
I mentioned before, this is really an important part of how we govern ourselves as the council. And so we want to continue to engage all of you as our important service unit and council delegates throughout the year, and not just one time per year during our annual business meeting. So several years ago, to facilitate this, we started hosting quarterly council delegate meetings. These meetings are less formal than our annual business meeting, and they provide a lot more opportunity to dive into operational topics that are of interest to delegates. And so I really wanted to highlight the schedule for this year's quarterly delegate roundtable, really and to encourage you to participate, to join us, and to be that voice for your service unit so that we can make sure that we incorporate and hear your feedback in all of our discussions and deliberations at the council. So our fall roundtable will be happening on October 25th, 2023. Our winter roundtable will be happening on January 24th, 2024. Our spring roundtable will be April 17th, 2024. And then our final quarterly delegate roundtable is the form of our annual business meeting, and that will be July 24th, 2024. We hope you'll join us once per quarter on Zoom for these important governance discussions. It's now my pleasure to bring back Michelle Taylor, our interim VP of Marketing and Communications, to facilitate our interactive breakout sessions, where we're going to talk about the future of our properties here at Girl Scouts of Central California South. Michelle.
Thank you, Russell. Tonight, we have not only reflected on where we've been in the previous year, but we are charting a course for where we are going together. During this business meeting, you've learned about our goals as a council, and more specifically, we will talk about the work we're doing with our properties. As we innovate, grow, and advance the Girl Scout mission in our council properties and spaces, physical spaces for girls, volunteers, adults, and staff, we want to incorporate all the voices of our Girl Scout community. Over the next 10 minutes, you will be broken out into virtual breakout groups. With your groups, you will envision what these spaces could look like for our girls, volunteers, staff, and community. We will have an interactive discussion to really understand, do you want to see a media studio? Do you want to see a STEM lab, financial literacy library, or anywhere in between? We want to capture your ideas. We want to hear your voice. Your facilitator, a member of our council leadership team, will display an inspiration board to spark ideas and your vision. And at the end, we will put some of those ideas into the chat and share out some highlights from these sessions. So now you'll be broken into your breakout sessions, and we'll return to the main stage shortly. Hello, hello.
I was in group 6. Should I pick it? Thank you.
We will give everyone.
Okay, I am going to assume that we can't hear Michelle. And I'll continue on and say thank you for giving us an opportunity to hear and speak about ideas. And thank you, delegates, for attending tonight and sharing your information. As we close out the 2023 annual business meeting, let us remember that the power of Girl Scouts lies not just in our ability to create leaders, but in our capacity to ignite a spark that will illuminate a path for generations to come. So let us forge ahead with determination, bound by our shared mission, and inspired by the boundless potential that lies within every girl. Thank you for being a part of this remarkable journey and for your unwavering dedication to the mission of Girl Scouts. Together, we're lighting the way, one badge, one troop, and one dream at a time. On behalf of our council and our movement, I want to thank you for your time and sharing this evening with us. I can't wait to see what we accomplish together over the next year. Thank you and good night.
Nice job.
Good night.